Hello, everybody. My name is Bruce Montgomery, and this is my colleague, Tracy Priest.
Hello, everyone.
And we're with The Road to Retail. On our podcast, Tracy and I hope to offer insights and ideas for how emerging small and challenger CPG, consumer packaged goods, brands can establish and grow their business.
Bruce and I have been working in CPG commercial operations for over 30 years, working on brands of all sizes. By commercial operations, we mean all aspects involved in establishing and growing brands across channels and platforms. On our show, we bring on guests that are brand founders, leaders, investors, as well as all kinds of suppliers to these emerging brands that are subject matter experts to share their unique insights with the audience.
To keep up with the show, please follow the Road to Retail podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leave us a review and consider sharing the show with a friend or colleague that may benefit from the content. You can also check out our website at www.road2retail.com and follow The Road to Retail on LinkedIn. Let's get to today's episode. Since 1994, the Emerson Group has been the trusted partner to brands, retailers, suppliers, and the CPG industry. Their people are CPG professionals and omnichannel commerce experts. They have built a fully integrated infrastructure with a suite of services and capabilities focused on launching and accelerating the growth of health, wellness, and beauty brands. Powered by their proprietary Omega AI data technology platform, which utilizes a brand's insights and data analytics to create a brand's go-to-market strategy, optimize their omni-channel distribution, build marketing plans, and optimize supply chain. The Emerson Group infrastructure and capabilities serve brands in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. To learn more, visit their website at www.emersongroup.com.
Emerging brands. It's time to play bigger. Big Chalk Analytics leverages consumer and sales data to help challenger and growth stage brands turn your hard-earned momentum into a consistent, scalable strategy. From pinpointing the right consumer to optimizing pricing, promotion, and media spend, Big Chalk transforms complex data into clear, confident decisions. No bloated retainers, no ivory tower templated decks. Just seasoned CPG experts moving with speed to impact your business now and with an eye on future growth. You've got ambition. Big Chalk brings the analytics to match it. Contact Emerging Brands Win at bigchalk.co to turn early traction into lasting power at the shelf.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of The Road to Retail. Thanks for joining us today. There he is, Tracy Priest. Tracy, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Bruce, doing great. It's a great day here at Road to Retail. We've got a fantastic guest today and very excited about this episode. So why don't you tell us about who we have today?
Yep. Today we're fortunate to be joined by Courtney Law. Courtney is head of creator partnerships at Boldify, a very interesting brand that she and the team are building out. So Courtney, thank you for spending time with us today. And you're coming on the show. So why don't you give us a little background on yourself and how you've maneuvered through your career and landed in this current role?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's great to be here. So my current role, head of creative partnerships at Boldify. So right now, the focus is all on scaling our creator and affiliate ecosystem. This is something that a lot of brands are really looking into, especially with the growth of TikTok Shop over the last few years. Before this, I was at Mammoth Brands and I was on the growth marketing team. When I started out, I was running paid social, and then I was actually tasked with figuring out TikTok Shop about 2 years into my career there. So my last year at Mammoth Brands was just completely trying to figure out how TikTok Shop worked. And Mammoth Brands was formerly Harry's, I guess, for context, for people who recognize that name too, because Mammoth Brands just changed last year. But yeah, my role at the time was just basically figure this thing out. We think there's a huge opportunity there. So I actually took one of our brands there from around like $2,000 a month in revenue to over 600,000 a month on TikTok Shop. Just learning the affiliate ecosystem, finding out what products worked, sampling, and just trying to put my growth mind on it. So yeah, that's kind of how I got here. I feel like I've learned a lot about how, creator driven commerce works. And I have a good understanding of like the ecosystem now.
Well, that's great. With those growth rates, Tracy might send you his retirement account if you can take it on that kind of level. And then if it
I
works for
wish
him,
I,
I'll send you mine.
yeah, I wish it could apply to investing. I would have loved to have that same level of growth in my own accounts.
It's interesting that you said I never knew that Mammoth was Harry's because I've always wondered why they had the mammoth on their packaging, and now the world knows. So thank
Yeah,
you very
yeah.
much.
It was like an inside joke, like a woolly mammoth, hairy mammoth. Like that was kind of how it
Ah,
started. And then that was on, I think like the earliest version of packaging at Harry's. And then about a year ago, they ended up changing their name to Mammoth Brands because they did want to just like more so bring everything under that umbrella and like show the ambition they had.
Nice,
that's
Tracy.
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, so Courtney, with our audience being, small, emerging, and challenger brands, tell us the backstory of Boldify, and then the gap that you guys saw in the marketplace to, meet the needs of your target consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. So Boldify was founded in 2016, 10 years ago, by our CEO, Mike. He actually personally struggled with hair loss and he wasn't able to find the right products or right brands that were built for him. Like he was kind of doing his own consumer research because he was looking for these products and couldn't find them. So he found that the market was really like failing thinning hair customers in two different ways. So there were like these like overpriced like hair concealers that you would like spray on, and then these like conventional styling products that were more so for thick hair that could actually damage people's hair that have thinning hair. So he built Boldify to basically fill that consumer gap. The products are all engineered specifically for fine and thinning hair, and so they actually like help hair have volume. They're protective for thinning hair, and then they also will conceal thinning, making it look thicker. A big part of it is just giving people confidence and destigmatizing like hair loss, thinning hair, and just making sure that people are like really proud of the products in this category. Because at the time, he felt like the products were kind of like medical and embarrassing, and so yeah, that's where he found a gap in the market essentially.
It's awesome.
That's
Great
that's
backstory.
interesting. So Courtney, there are a few other products out there. As you can tell, Tracy and I spend hours and hours on our hair every day. Can you
Yeah.
speak to Boldify's meaningful point of difference and how you guys communicate this differentiation to consumers? And we're also going to go into retail in a bit, but how do you explain how Boldify works both to consumers and then to retailers relative to other products that might be out there?
Yeah, yeah, great question. I mean, I think a big part of it is the brand story, that like the entire foundation of the product line being about styling thinning hair, because there are a lot of like growth focused products. And then there's also products that are more so for like some coverage. But there it's kind of like an afterthought in some different lines, whereas like our entire line is like built around this premise. Um, a couple things that differentiate some of our products. So I have actually our hair fibers here, but these are our fibers. They're kind of going out with the Zoom. But there are some competitors for fibers, but they're more so they're formulated with keratin, and then ours are plant-based cotton fibers. And then a big thing, like one of our main hero products is our hairline powder. It's kind of going in and out with my background, but it's basically this like portable travel powder. So this was like pretty much first to the market, like was not a common product at all. So you lift this up and it has like tons of different shades for people with all hair colors. We have lots of different color matches. And then it has a power puff in there so you can pick up the powder, take it on the go. So like the main product that like I guess would be a substitute for this was like these like sprays, but they're quite different. They're not as easy to travel with. They're less colors. So I think a big third part of it is like the thoughtfulness in all the like products for these consumers. And then I think a big point of differentiation we have is also that we are constantly improving our products, improving our formulas, working closely with consumers. So we are, making a point to communicate that to people that we are developing updated formulas and listening to their feedback.
It's awesome. I
So
love
that's
it.
great. So folks, for the folks that are listening, and most people listen, Courtney, she was holding up a couple of their products and demonstrating kind of not only what the packaging looked like, but she was touching it to kind of give a sense of the tactile feel. So look for their products online on their website, and we'll put the links into the show notes. So I just wanted to let the folks
Good call
know
out.
that aren't on video. Tracy?
So let's talk about consumer research, Courtney. So tell us, did you guys do, any consumer research before launching the product? And if you did, what kind did you do?
So, I mean, I believe the original consumer research was really Mike himself. He was looking for the product and couldn't find it anywhere. And so that was like the driving insight behind the product being put on Amazon. That was one of our like main growth engines. It's still like a huge sales channel for us. And then a big part, like something that's nice with Amazon is that it is a place where a lot of people are, they're obviously already looking to make their purchase. So it's pretty easy to quickly find if there is a demand, if people are searching for this product already and that it's unmet. So Amazon and Mike himself were like our original like research engines for the brand.
Great. No, that makes total sense. Bruce?
Yeah, so Courtney, you just kind of walked right into this one. So tell us
Yeah.
about the role Amazon has played as you guys have developed the Boldify business.
Yeah, absolutely. So Amazon is our hero channel, I'd say, and our main sales driver. So I think I was seeing like it's like 200 million people in the US are Prime members, which is wild. So obviously, it's a massive marketplace. And as I was mentioning, like consumers are actively searching for solutions, they're in the buyer mindset. It can be a discovery engine, but I think what it's really known for and is really good at is a place to capture demand that's already there. So it has worked really well for us for discovery and conversion with people looking for products for thinning hair, finding Boldify, and it really just grew to be a leading brand on Amazon. It was totally bootstrapped, figured out by our founder, and I'd say it's 100% the foundation of our brand. So, we just really wanted to be where shoppers want to shop, and obviously Amazon is a place where a lot of people want to shop.
Right.
But obviously it's one of a few different sales channels. But yeah, it is our primary one right now.
Awesome. So talking about primary channels, so talk to us about TikTok and how Boldify thinks about TikTok and how they leverage that platform because it's definitely exploding, to say the least.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I know this almost kind of connects to your point too about consumer research because something that's nice for TikTok as well is I can like TikTok is also a search engine. So you can type into your bar and you can look up, you can find people that have similar struggles to you. What products do they use? And even I, like when I was learning about Boldify, I mean, I saw Boldify come up organically on my TikTok years ago because they had massive virality back in 2024. It was a huge, huge growth lever for us. So essentially, Boldify got on TikTok Shop, started sending out more products, started building up an Amazon affiliate program as well. And there were just like multiple videos that would get millions and millions of views, millions of likes, just incredible amount of impressions for the brand. So it really helped drive a ton of discovery for the brand and is a big part of what helps get us into retail because you could immediately already see the demand that people could post a video, particularly our hairline powder that I was holding up that the people listening cannot see. But it is like, it's just a really great visual product. A big part of, again, why we work well on TikTok Shop, I will say, is that our products are very visual. You get immediate before and after. So they just are very contentable. Like it's easy for people to make content about them and show what the value is very quickly because you get like these dramatic before and after transformations, particularly with our fibers and our hairline powder that I was just holding up. So yeah, I'd say it's been an amazing like growth driver for us, great discovery channel, awareness channel. And it is, I would say, our like one of our primary growth engines alongside like paid investment, really like working closely with creators. So yeah, like the momentum on TikTok Shop has been huge for us. Like can't underscore that enough because we launched on TikTok Shop. We've been on it a couple of years now. It is getting more saturated with different brands for sure, but I think it's still like kind of a tough nut for a lot of these brands to crack. It's a complicated and interesting channel, and a lot of it is about keeping creators' attention. So you do have to find a product that works well on TikTok, and there's a few different things that can make a product work well on TikTok, but definitely a big one is them being like very visual and easy for creators to tell stories about the product without needing like a really in-depth briefing on the brand.
So I
So
have a
Courtney,
question.
you
Oh, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Trace.
Trace. No, go.
So you talked about discovery. So, and I don't know if you know this or not, but what percentage of consumers are using TikTok for discovery, and then what percentage are actually buying the product?
That's a great question. I actually should try to pull that exact percent. Um, I would say it like compared to our baseline, like it's yeah, I should find a percent for you. I don't have it at the top of my head,
Sorry
but
about that. I
it's
know I threw you a little
massive.
curveball.
No, no. I mean, I will say so back at my I mean, one thing that's was like a good data point at my previous brand, we would see over 50% halo from TikTok shop to other channels. So
Mhm.
like roughly for every unit we sold on TikTok, when we had like no baseline for this product that really picked up, it would be like 50% of those units sold on other channels. So pretty significant chunk of people that are discovering and shopping outside of TikTok. My belief is that it's probably even larger than that. That's just what we can measure, like with immediate
Right.
purchases. But of course, there's lots of people who that product enters your mind and you don't buy it for a few months until you see it on shelves later on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean that gets into a whole discussion which we will not have, and that's how do you assign attribution? I mean,
But it's
it's a real
crazy.
problem for brands.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Courtney, you started to walk down here. Let's push a little further. So what the marketing vehicles that you use to drive awareness and trial for Boldify, you spoke about Amazon kind of being foundational for you guys, and now how TikTok's really grown. So I don't know if you want to start with TikTok, but maybe tell us how a brand like Boldify, how do you recruit your affiliate and creator community, and how do you keep them engaged? And gosh,
Yeah.
if you care to share it, how do you keep them from doing anything that's like completely crazy where you're like, oh my God, what what have we done?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's all really good questions. Yeah, 100%. Like, I think so. A big part of recruiting the affiliates, I mean, there's a lot of different levers that you can pull. I'd say, like, early on, like, straight up, you can offer free samples for your product. So, we do lots of sampling for our products. I would say, there's like different tiers of creators in TikTok Shop. I think TikTok might have like five or six official different tiers of creators. So there's basically
Mm.
like they tier them out based on how much that they've earned on the platform. So the recruitment method for those different tiers can differentiate quite a bit. So for instance, a creator who has not driven any sales, say they're in the like 0 to 1,000 revenue generated tier, that affiliate normally you would send them a free sample. Like you don't really need to do too much more outside of recruiting them, to outside of simply sending them a message and getting them onboarded. But when it goes up and up and up, it basically gets harder and harder to get in contact with these top creators. Some of them are like pretty much being treated like they're top influencers, like they're driving tons of revenue for brands, so brands are bringing them on brand trips and flying them out, and it's basically like the brands that have budgets are going to be able to keep the top creators attention, whereas the brands
Mhm.
that don't have as much, they can rely more so on the like mid and lower tier creators. You do still find sometimes like some really big creators, if they just already love your brand, love your product, will post content for you. But yeah, it's definitely more of an effort. So I would say like the higher up you get, it's like you can do more automation for the lower tier creators. And then as the creator quality increases, it becomes a lot more important to really focus on the like one-on-one human connection, sending them emails, like knowing what their content looks like, showing that you know what their content looks like in the email, like standing out to them because they are just being hit with messages from thousands of brands. Whereas the bottom tier creators are just, they're kind of excited, they're learning, they're figuring it out, they're trying different products, kind of seeing what sticks for their content. Whereas those top creators are, they like really know how to make content that converts. So it's extra work to get in front of them. But it's only a small percent of creators actually on TikTok Shop that have even been able to drive a significant amount of sales. So there's a lot of creators out there, but um, only a select few that have like really broken through and have made it like a full-time job. So yeah, so I think recruiting, it depends on the creators. One thing that's big, I'd say for us, is that when we think about our product line, we can basically split out um, who our ideal consumers are into personas. Like, so people who maybe have like alopecia versus like, someone who has like postpartum hair loss. Like, you can try to find creators that fit different like niches that would work well for like people who are actually going to be customers because they can speak directly to those hair concerns. So that's something that's helpful and like a great way to help organize the creator community. And then I think what was your other question was also how to engage them, right?
Yeah, so Courtney, maybe this will help the back half of this topic.
Yeah,
Maybe take a second because you've basically said the creators that are really good and cranking can be tough to even get their attention unless
hmm
they're already kind of in love or a fan of your product. Maybe take a second. Again, TikTok is just TikTok. I mean, Tracy and I have learned so much over the last
Yeah.
yeah.
year, maybe year, 15 months. Talk a tiny bit about how, if at all, you can manage your affiliates and creators, and then maybe just a touch without, getting into the Boldify secret sauce and equation. How are these people compensated?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, great question. So one thing that's beautiful about the affiliate program on TikTok Shop is that they are paid out on TikTok directly when they drive a sale on TikTok. So it is an automatic payout. It is like paid for by Boldify, but the transactions are all managed by TikTok Shop. So actually, Boldify doesn't really have to do any sort of attribution work, and none of the brands do in terms of determining what sales the creators drove. And then another thing that brands can do at times is pay creators a fee on top of their commission. So the commissions are paid out automatically. And then the same thing goes for Amazon affiliates. Those are also paid out based on, like you said, a budget for a campaign, and they will be paid out based on whatever you set as your commission for those products. But yeah, so it's paid out automatically, but you can pay creators flat fees to make content for you. So I guess that's kind of hinting at where it gets to when you're at the very top creators. A lot of them are being hit by a lot of brands. So, and they know that their content is likely to drive sales for you. So it takes a bit more to get them to make content, basically.
So do they get
And
commission
we've been
and some kind of fee, Courtney? They get commission and a
Yeah.
fee? And what is the
Yeah.
commission range? Just give us a range.
Good question. It is normally around like 20%. Like, I think it can range from 15 to 30. We actually just did a test where we did 50% commission. So it's like you
Oh
can
my
just play
gosh.
around with lots. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's like I mean, it kind of depends on what your depends on how you're viewing the channel and your like cost of goods, obviously your margins. But if you
Better
see
have
it
a
as like
juicy
a
margin for sure.
yeah, yeah. I think a big part of it is like it's a sales channel, but again, it is a big marketing channel. So it's like if that's an incentive that works well for the affiliates, it is still tied to sales. Um, One thing to call out is TikTok actually has different tiers of commissions too. So they have organic commission, which basically means that sale was driven organically. And then they have ads commission, which basically means I can spend ad dollars boosting the affiliate's content and then they'll still get a commission, but it will typically be a smaller commission because the brand has spent money to
Invested.
put ad dollars behind it. So you could do more for organic commission, kind of excite the creators. And the dream state is that you have lots of organic sales coming through. But it's definitely, I think, is becoming more and more like an ads game.
So we've heard from other guests, Courtney, that working with these affiliates to a certain extent is a bit of a leap of faith because especially the bigger ones, those men and women don't necessarily want to be closely managed. So
Huh.
when you have those people that you're sending samples and maybe some product information, do you also send them, I don't even know what to call it, a one pager on this is the
Yeah.
stuff Boldify would like you to talk about, and these are some things maybe we'd appreciate you not talking about. Like,
Yes.
don't wear a Boldify t-shirt when you like drown your puppy or something crazy.
Yes, I mean, maybe I'll throw that into the guidelines. That's good.
Okay.
But yeah, we do have guidelines that we send to them. Um, I think this is an interesting one because I mean, I feel like this is a trap a lot of us can get into. Like, it's not at all the same as an influencer channel where like brands are spending many thousands of dollars on one creator and one post where it's like not that the person's like a billboard for them, but I think that can be a thing where it's like, here's the script, here's the points you're hitting. We have all this research that says you need to say this, this, this. Like it's not normally it's like affiliates can get all this info, but like I think probably 7 times out of 10 they're probably gonna ignore it. Like it's more so like if they're being hit by a ton of different brands, they're like they don't have time to necessarily read your briefs really deep down and like it's a bit different if you're paying them for the content for sure that like I think they will follow the brief closely, but for the most part like you're sending them the info sort of hoping that they're going to read it and use it. So I mean a big part of what we try to do with those one pagers, it's basically like we want to provide value to the affiliates, like hey, here's hooks that work really well, here's ways to grab attention with the content. um,
Interesting.
and you can try to tell them to avoid certain things, but it's like you kind of have to you're just not 100% sure if they're actually going to read that or note it. So, and if their content is problematic, you can also I think you could flag it to the TikTok team if there's like real big brand concerns. But I think a big part of it is that you kind of have to try to trust the affiliates like at scale. Like you can't micromanage them the same way that you can another program. Because I mean, I think pretty much every instance of when we've gone really viral has just happened really organically with a creator who loves the product and is making the content. So we can share with creators, especially the ones that haven't driven as many sales and maybe newer to the affiliate program, what are things that work well for making content. But it's probably like less in depth than like a brand briefing would be for a huge influencer post that's going to cost a ton of money. Like it's we basically want to just help them with being able to make better content. But I think one thing I'll call out for brands that like may be concerned about what affiliates could post and what they can't control, it's kind of like you sort of have to just let control go. Because I mean, the reality of it is that anyone like the moment you join this program, if you have like an open plan, anyone can become an affiliate. But even if anyone can't become an affiliate, like someone could hypothetically wear a Boldify t-shirt, not be an affiliate, and drown their puppy, and that's terrible. But it's like it's kind of like TikTok already sort of is the Wild West that lots of people can already go on and get impressions of your brand, post about your products without being paid by you. And so that's the reality of most of the affiliate worlds, that most of them aren't being paid by you. They're only being paid to make a sale. So that's the thing to watch out for is, I think, more so to make sure that their content isn't too like salesy or spammy, that they're, not talking about the product and they're just trying to make the sale. Like, I think that's the biggest risk right now with TikTok shop content.
And Courtney, what do you do if they make some kind of claim that is inappropriate, like, oh, Boldify, if you use it, it'll cure your cancer? How do you
Yeah, I mean,
control how do you control that?
I will say one thing that's nice is TikTok Shop actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of moderating content.
Oh,
So if
good.
someone makes
Mm.
claims, like there are like rules for being an affiliate that it's like there's probably pieces of content that can like slip through the cracks, but if it starts to pick up, TikTok will normally catch it. So that's really
Good.
nice because yeah, it's like we have thousands of pieces of content, so it's like not really possible for us to like manually moderate all of it. But
Yeah.
TikTok, if anything's like against their community guidelines, it should be taken down.
Okay, good. So talk to us about how you evaluate the impact of the marketing vehicles that you use. Like how do you measure what's working and what's not, and how do you pivot, I guess, quickly when you say, "Oh, this was a great idea, but it's not working. We got to try something else."
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. So I think a big part, like it's pretty tough. So for the most part, like we do see promos drive a lot of our sales. Like I think we're at a current point in our growth. Like we have like tons of discovery for Boldify on TikTok. So we're still pushing into like finding that next massive growth lever. So for TikTok, like one thing that we can see is like we will look at the number of views, impressions that we're getting each month. And then we actually have this analysis where we can compare it to the lift that we're getting on Amazon. We don't have it for every single retailer right now. It's kind of early stages, but we can get a rough sense of like how many incremental or how many views on TikTok drive incremental revenue on Amazon, which is super helpful. One thing that is tough is that it's like not super consistent. I think a lot of brands do see this too. Like if something picks up organically, like it does do a great job at just grabbing you a lot more customers. Like if, whereas like I think like really consistent performance is generally a lot of people who do already know the brand too. So a big part of what we're doing in TikTok, like we are continually spending on it, getting millions of impressions every month because we know that that's really valuable for the brand. And we've seen the halo that it has driven in the past for Amazon and that there's a consistent incremental revenue that comes from it. But a lot of it is like you kind of can't measure it, which is tough. Like, when I
Mhm.
mentioned like people can see the brand and then purchase it months later. One thing that is helpful is we can have a sense of our customer acquisition cost. How much are we spending to get a customer? And then what is our lifetime value of that customer? So we do have pretty good data around that. So normally, if we can make $30 in profit in a customer, for example, then we can spend, up to there in our customer acquisition costs. So, we have like kind of consistent growth metrics that we can work towards. But I do think the biggest, probably open question, which a lot of brands are working through, is like retail is obviously the toughest one to measure. Like you can
Yeah.
have an MMM, but it's always like just a model, like it's never like going to be 100% accurate. So a lot of it is like you have to just have faith in your current growth engines and push and believe in them. And there will be spikes that make it all pay off. And then I'd say to your question about if something isn't working, like say if we really increased our investment in our marketing channel and then didn't see an uplift to sales, I'd say for Boldify, like we're a move fast, fail fast company. Like if something's not working, we will do it. We'll make big swings and then we will move on and try something else. So I think we're not like running really, really long tests, trying to push a ton of money into one channel or another. Like we're very agile.
Gotcha.
So Courtney, what's MMM?
Oh, great question. That's I feel like it goes back and forth with people say media mixed modeling or marketing mixed modeling, but it's basically
Okay.
like this measurement system where you can get a sense of how much you've spent into different channels. So, for instance, TV
No,
versus paid social, radio. Yeah. And then there will be modeling based on historic spend on those channels and the measured assumed lift to retail. And then you can basically just do lots of incrementality testing and pulse spend testing to get a sense of what will drive the most lift. Because again, it's like I'd say like the in-channel metrics, the digital metrics are really helpful for like making quick changes, but the MMM is like great for like a holistic omni-channel system where you're trying to get like a bigger picture versus being really precise on
Right. No,
specific
that's super
growth
helpful.
metrics. Yeah.
So Courtney, as you guys are growing so rapidly, how do you think about the relationship between your sales and marketing channels?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say our like TikTok shop is a great example because it is a sales channel and it's a marketing channel. So we are able to really like drive lots of discovery there and we're able to capture revenue in there, which is great. But again, I think it's the perfect example of we do treat it very differently than Amazon, whereas Amazon, because it is a huge portion of our revenue and it is it's much more like efficient because TikTok has a lot of hits to it with like affiliate commission, ad spend, TikTok fees. Like there's all these campaigns that they have us register in where they take like a percent. So TikTok is one where it's like it doesn't necessarily have like the best P&L for a lot of different brands, but the halo that it drives sort of makes it okay. Whereas Amazon, it's more important to us to have a profitable business there because it's not driving the same kind of discovery that TikTok is and same kind of halo.
Great.
That makes
Thank
makes
you.
total sense. So let's talk a little bit about brick and mortar. As you guys rolled into brick and mortar, how did you choose what retailers to go into first, and how did you choose that first retail partner?
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually wasn't here when we chose our very first retail partner. So I'll be careful with answering that. I think one thing that's been, I mean, and not to keep talking about TikTok shop, but something that was like really cool for Boldify was because of that like explosive virality and the massive growth on TikTok. That was a big part of the story that was used to get into retail. So we are actually available in mass retailers, Target, Walmart, and a lot of that is thanks to TikTok. So I think those were realistically our dream partners to start up with. I think something that's really great at Boldify is that the team doesn't shy away from investing in inventory, investing ahead of growth, and ensuring that we're prepared to work with the retailers. So when we did pick up, like essentially one of the products that really went viral, that hairline powder, was in this light blonde color because a lot of the viral videos were blonde women that were touching up. They have the dark roots. Like that's a consistent issue that blondes have to deal with when they're growing out their hair and getting it updated regularly. It's very costly and harsh on the hair when they're bleaching them often. So that specific color really picked up and we bought so much inventory of it because they were so prepared for that color when they were launching into retail. So yeah, I think a big part of it was just it was like right time, right place. We picked up really well on TikTok, went really viral, had an amazing growth story that we were able to get into those retailers. Um, yeah,
That's awesome. Love that. Bruce?
So Courtney, as you guys are now you're on TikTok Shop, you're Amazon, you're direct to consumer on your own website, which we've checked out, and now in brick and
yeah.
mortar. How are you guys managing across these multiple channels? Some examples, could be, do you have different SKUs for different channels? Do you have different like bundle packs? Because we see so many brands, big brands and other emerging brands, they just kind of lose control of their pricing and then it's a
Yeah.
wreck because they have a
Yeah.
SKU. It's a one price over here, another one over there, but it's the same thing, and it causes a lot of angst on the P&L and to
Yes.
the executive team who get angry phone calls from partners.
Yeah, totally. It's a great question. I would say that we are very intentional about our price pack architecture. So each product and bundle is really designed to make sense for the channel that it lives in. So Our products, like the ones I mentioned, like the hairline powder, for instance, that one is Target and Walmart because again, that was our main product and what a lot of people were introduced to for the brand. But when it comes to TikTok, Amazon, and D2C, I mean, Amazon's a little bit different, but TikTok and D2C, for instance, those are ones where we're really pushing for more bundles, trying to get bigger AOVs when people are buying through us, because it's not like the same as Prime, where people always know that they're going to have like that 2 day free shipping. It's like a bit more, you have to like encourage them to buy a bit more to make it work. So our D2C, we're really into the bundles. TikTok, we're also building out more and more bundles and unique promos. And I'd say within our org, like we're just very coordinated. Like we have a shared marketing calendar, and we're ensuring that when one channel's testing a promo, the others are aware and things are being communicated to the different like retail leads so that they can know if something unique is being tested. But yeah, we're very mindful. We're not trying to have anyone go much lower than one channel or another, and that someone isn't aware of it.
It's a tricky
Right. And
balance.
folks, when Courtney referenced AOV, it's average order volume.
Oh
So
yeah.
when you get into DTC and Amazon, and sadly TikTok will probably end up in this camp as well. There's the fixed costs around shipping and handling, so you kind of
Mhm.
need that higher ring to make it work for you.
Yeah,
Yep.
All
100%.
right,
Yeah, great
Trace.
question.
All right. So some of our favorite questions here, Courtney, as we're rounding third and heading home, as Bruce says. So uh, you're walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and says, Courtney, what's the best advice? I want to start a brand. What's the best advice you'd give me?
That's a great question. I know I'm so in the TikTok world. Like I feel like for me, I think what stands out about a brand is when I love when they have like a great founding story and there's great content speaking to it. Like I think like brand, the social media, it kind of all goes hand in hand and just like really standing out. Like I think like there's so many brands right now, I will say for like skincare, for instance, that I'm seeing where it's like really linked to these creators. And I think like there's just something to this like cool founding story that there's like a personal connection with the brand. I just think like TikTok is still such an amazing place to get eyes on your brand, to be able to share your story, create content. You can start up a TikTok shop and then capture some demand on Amazon as well. Like that would be my recommendation. Like I would try to get a social media following going. Probably speaking to my generation a bit, but I think it's really cool when I see all these young business owners who are starting up brands and they're able to tell their story on TikTok and grab attention really like organically, and it's just really cool that that's kind of been democratized in a way. But it's also tough for people who are more nervous to tell stories about their brand. So I feel
Yeah,
like there's still lots of different ways in, but yeah, I love learning about new brands on TikTok.
love that. Love that. I do too. And one day I'm going to be a TikTok star. But
Yes.
anyway, not yet. So tell us who's had the greatest influence on your career and why.
Good question. I would say my dad for sure.
I knew you were
um,
going to say that.
yeah, I have to. Yeah, I think one thing that's been great is like he has always encouraged me to do work that I'd be proud of. I feel like I would be like, "Are you proud of me? Like, look at this promotion and look at this new role and this title." And he'd be like, "The most important thing is that you're proud of yourself, Like
Mhm.
that's really what's most important. As nice as it is to have like validation, like, make sure that you're doing work that you're really proud of. Make an impact at your company, build great relationships. I feel like he's really helped me focus on what's important when it comes to building my career and having fun. That's important too. Like, really make sure
Absolutely.
you enjoy what you're doing and learning new things and challenging yourself.
That's awesome.
That is great because I'm sure we've all been there at various times in our working lives, whether it's when you're like 14 caddying for the worst golfer in the country club or in your office job. There are days when you walk in the office and you're like, what's going to happen today? And you're just
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
dreading it when you get in those slumps. So it's always good totally juiced up about what you're working on and staying positive. So great counsel from your father. All right,
Yeah.
Courtney. So who's your favorite sports team, band, or brand? And you can't say Boldify or Mammoth.
Okay.
And why do you support them?
Okay, great. It's kind of funny because I know you shared this question with me, and then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I focused on the sports team one, which is funny because I'm not a sports person, but I do think it's kind of funny. So I grew up as a huge Red Sox fan because when my family first moved to the US, we were living in Rhode Island, and that was like our first intro to baseball teams. But now I've moved to New York and I actually do wear a Yankees hat around. So I feel like a total traitor. I did formally ask my dad if I'm allowed to wear a Yankees hat, and he gave me permission. I was like, I've been here for almost 5 years now. It feels like it's time, but I still feel a bit guilty about it.
Well, as a Metro New York guy and a Yankee fan, I salute your choice. You've come over to the dark side, and I often joke with my Red Sox fans that if Fenway ever burns down, I should probably be a suspect. But Courtney, thank you so much for your time today. This has been
Thank
great.
you.
Yes.
I think you could probably join up with a few of your colleagues and give a PhD class to people like me, at least, on TikTok Shop, because man, there is just the Wild West out there.
It's
But thank you
crazy.
so
Yeah.
much. All right, Tracy, the
Yeah.
big finish. Bring us home.
Well, first of all, Courtney, tell us how people can get in contact with you and
Oh,
learn more
great.
about
Sorry.
Boldify.
Oh no, you're good.
I got you,
Yeah.
buddy.
My name Courtney, and then at getboldify.com. And I'm on LinkedIn as Courtney Law. You can find me head of creative partnerships at Boldify.
That is awesome. Very good. Very good. So, the big finish. Thank you so much, Courtney. This has been
Thank
great,
you.
great learnings, and just love that you came on the show for with us. And our audience, thank you for joining us today. Continue to follow us on Spotify, on Apple Podcast. We post every Tuesday on LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel, as well as our wonderful website, www.road2retail.com. And all of our episodes and everything about us is all on there as well. So thank you again, Courtney, and thank you, audience, for joining us.
Good luck
Awesome.
out
Thank you
there,
guys so
folks.
much.